Coach's Corner is back for the final time in the month of January. Matteen Rad, joined by head coach Steve Martinson. And we meet today right after one of the most memorable games of the season. Coach, I don't think I've seen a game that was so eventful and yet had no goals. What were your thoughts on the shootout win against the Rosenzweig?
You know what? It was such a frustrating game because, you're not scoring any power play goals. And then when you go back and think about it, okay, it was a really good penalty kill game because they didn't score any power play goals. But they certainly got the 3 stars of the game right, the 2 goalies. And I've never seen a game, I think it's 20 power plays, 10 each way, something like that. And then, nobody scores a goal, nobody scores in overtime, and 1 goal in the shootouts. It was a great night for the goaltending. Obviously, they had a bunch of power plays in the first period, and Rosie just kept us in the game. I mean, that was all him. He made, some huge saves. And even early on, we were brain dead in front of our net, open scoring chances. It looked like, we just left our brains in the locker room, and it was but we needed him. He stepped up and saved the game for us.
That kind of brings up my next question. I mean, the defensive effort from the team, does it bring out any complex thoughts from you? I mean, it marked the second shutout for the team this season, but as you kind of mentioned, Rosie had to pull out the heroics a handful of times. Do you applaud the boys for their defensive effort, or are there a few shortcomings?
Well, like I said, the penalty kill was good. And then getting they get the overtime, power play, and it was such a frustrating game for some of the calls. It was painful. But we have to fix a couple of things, and part of it was our defensemen going on offense before we even have the puck. Bad decision making. But we've got to shore that up, and I'm confident that we could do that. And the other thing is get our power play back to going again, and and their goalies played good. I mean, I remember looking at him this summer, and he's a big guy, and he's an older guy. He's like 29 years old, and it's funny because he had a pretty good year last year for a bad team, and then but he bounced around, didn't play a lot of games, so she's showing that he can stop the puck.
You brought up the power plays for both teams. They go combined. They both go 0 for 8 on the night, so a combined 0 for 16 between the two. I also think there may have been a total of 8 times that the iron of the net was struck. I haven't seen anything like it. I know you've been involved with the professional game for 40-plus years, but does it ever cross your mind that, this is an unusual game?
Yeah, I guess you could be some kind of force if you believed in that kind of stuff. I had the hockey gods were keeping the puck out of the net. And, yeah, we had some great looks and great chances. And, I think both teams had pipes. And so, it was just one of those games. And, but in the scheme of things, I needed Rosie to step up. He's had some real good games and some off games. And it's a good confidence builder for him, and knowing that, in any game that he can win any game that we're in.
We'll talk a little bit more about Rosie in a second. The 5-on-3s was something that we also discussed a little bit. Was that Columbus being set up well on those PKs, or did we just find it difficult to execute?
I don't think we passed the puck very well. I don't think our decision-making was quite there. And, we shot pucks out of the zone. We didn't get screens in our shots from the point. So a lot of missed opportunity there. And I'm going to switch that. You'll see. We're going to have a different 5-on-3 and 3 games in 3 nights with, I would think that we'll get one this weekend, and we're going to have a different look for our 5-on-3. And I'm going to have 2 guys in front of the net. And that goalie's not going to be able to see the puck like he was, on Saturday.
Obviously, Rosie stole the headlines with his performance. He was solid. He had to be heroic at times, but even through the shootout, he stopped every single shot he saw. But it also marked the 4th game in a row that he has started, and he's the first of our goalies to do that this season. He's been really on the upward tick. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, sometimes when you play more, you play better. And so I just told the goalies when things changed, when Jack left, that, I wasn't going to rotate. I was going to go with the hot hand, and obviously he'll go again on Friday night because, if you have a shutout, I try calling this trying to outsmart the game, and I don't try to outsmart the game. Goalie has a shutout, he goes back the next night. Doesn't matter what the situation is he's playing. And so Yeah, he's back in, and we just want to have him keep going.
I know you mentioned previously that you had your goaltending coach from when you were in Allen coach up Rosie a little bit. I know that must be difficult to have that happen all the time. So for you, what does coaching a goaltender look like for you from a head coaching perspective?
Well, one of the shortcomings of having to be on the road for practice for 2 months, it's difficult because you're paying a lot extra for ice time, and you have guys waiting, and guys coming together in 2 vans. So, the goaltenders they get a lot of shots in our practices, but not a lot of individual work. And now that we're in our rink, he can get out early and work on the things that they both do. I mean, Davey's out there all the time early. He's out there usually a half an hour early working on stuff. So that's one of the things that you get when you have ice time at home. And we have ice all this week at home. And I believe, we're looking at my calendar, I think it was all next week too. Yeah, so we've got a lot of ice this month. There was only a couple of days that we have it covered, and that's going to be good for us.
We've talked before about how many times the team has gone to overtime, and with the rules in the FPHL, how that a lot of times translates to dropped points. At least it feels that way. Was your mentality still the same in this game, or was there a taste of, all right, we got a point out of this one?
Well, we got 2 points out of it, but
right. But when you were heading into overtime,
I was like, we always want to get in regulation, especially with the way this system is. But we have to start making up games. We played 16 road games tonight at home. So we're, when you look at the rest of the league, usually the teams are around 500 all season long for road games and home games. So, we played almost twice as many games on the road as we have at home. And now it's time for us to start cashing in and getting those 3 points in our home games and getting our A game going and making sure that we're doing we put ourselves in the best position to win.
We saw on the transactions page Brendan Ronan on the 15-day IR. Can you take us through what's keeping Brendan out?
Yeah, he's just got a muscle injury, nothing serious. So he'll be ready to go by the time unfortunately, we don't have a 10-day, we don't have a 7-day. So, you could be out a week, and if you have salary cap or roster issues, if you're injured, you have to go on the 15, and it's a little bit frustrating, but there's some things in this league that need to be changed, and that's one of them.
Some more movement to the ECHL, which is also always exciting. We saw that Troy Murray is the second Rock Lobster to be loaned to the South Carolina Stingrays in the ECHL this season. It's a great opportunity for Troy. What led up to it for Troy, and is there a relationship forming between the two clubs in the Stingrays and the Rock Lobsters?
Well, I go back. We played South Carolina, won 7 games and beat them in the 7th game. And, when I was in Allen. And so I got to know their GM a lot over the years, and we've had a lot of conversations. And then, their coach was in Rockford last year. So he's a guy that's played a long time, and he wants his team to be able to play a certain way. So one of the things that they look for when they call us is guys that are physical players. And, I always say that's the easiest call up to me. It's hard to always go up as a skilled guy, because if you're not playing with the right players, you might not get many opportunities, and it's hard to show your skill. So he's going up because he's got that physical ability, and he could play tough, and he could move. And so it's a good opportunity for him. And again, it's, for us, wanting to establish ourselves as the best place to play if you're not in that league. It's just another guy and another notch to help us get to where we want to be.
Did the team make it through the 2 games with Columbus healthy otherwise?
Yeah. We didn't have any significant injuries. A couple of guys, banged up a little bit, but nothing from, actual hits. I think we got one of our top guys got a puck in the wrist. Didn't practice yesterday, but everybody's to go today except for Ronan, and Alden's sick. He's been out with the flu, so we got most of the guys available today.
Wanted to pick your brain a little bit on the offense. Just wanting to see if you felt like it was a little bit, 2 step forwards, 1 step back. You had that great 4-game spell with the offense, and then you go into Columbus and you only score really 1 goal in that 2-game set. What are your thoughts and your perspectives on the offense?
Yeah, that's disappointing because right now we've got goal scorers on every line. and all the lines, you've got Alden with Gallant and Phil, and that's a line that's got 25 plus goals, and all the lines have over 25 to 30 goals on them. I guess not 30, but 25. So we feel like we should be able to score every line should be able to produce, and it was a little bit frustrating in that respect. And obviously, though, when you're playing one of the top teams in the league, they've got veteran defensemen and a team that's played together really for several years. So I think each line will get a little bit better this week after playing another week together and practicing another week. And Jimmy missed the one weekend, so I'm feeling more confident every day that we'll be able to have three lines that are scoring at a good pace.
We're going into a 3-game set against the Zydeco at home. Well, with the ice weather that we had a few weeks ago, this will now be our first 3-game weekend of the season, and it comes at home. How excited are you and the boys to make up some ground on the games played at Athens Ford Arena?
Yeah, well, that's what we have to do now. Now we got to win at home, and we've got to get those 3-point wins. So I'm looking forward to it. It's we've got those 3, and then we've got 3 with 3 this month at home with Carolina. So those are areas that we want to make sure that we're grabbing 3 points.
Do you feel like a little bit more confident with the way that the road games have gone? Because all in all, I mean, you take a look, 4 games, you have 3 wins out of those 4. You're learning a lot more about your team, and maybe there was a trend at home for a while where it felt like we would take a lead and then give a lead up, take a lead, give a lead up. Do you feel more confident in your team to go out on the home ice?
Like a lot of our mistakes are, goals against her because we make dumb plays. We turn the pucks over. We're not moving the puck in the right area. We're not moving at the right time. And so, that's kind of a constant battle when you have an offensive team to make sure you're picking your spots. And we want to be aggressive, but we want to be smart. And sometimes we're not always smart.
How do you iron out those things as a head coach, individual mistakes? Is it a focus thing? Is it a coaching thing?
Some of it you got to show them on video. Some of you are just talking to. There's guys that, that want to get more ice time. And I've talked to them about what I think they need to do to be the most, give themselves the best chance to be the best they can be. So, we're always working on, getting a little bit better. And so, we want to have speed, we want to have pace, and it's just put the work in.
The last question for me, Coach. Obviously, it's a big, big weekend, and Saturday's game marks Stick It to Cancer Night. The team will wear special jerseys that will be auctioned off after the game with proceeds going to cancer research. Fans can also participate in awareness and fundraising activities. Coach, cancer is such a personal thing for so many people, and it has left its cold touch on so many people's lives. Is there anyone in your life that you will be thinking about on the night?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I lost my brother when he was 52 to cancer, and my dad was 75. So they both died young, and both really healthy guys, and it's something that it affects everybody, and everybody's got their stories and their loved ones that they've lost, and this, as much as we can all do to raise awareness and raise money and get that terrible disease, get a cure.
You can't wait to be there, and what will be a very memorable night in Athens Ford Arena. We've got a 3-game set coming up against the Baton Rouge Zydeco Friday at 8:05, Saturday 8:05, and Sunday at 4:05. I'll see you there, Coach.
See you this weekend.